In 1997, the hit sitcom Ellen aired the Puppy episode, an innocuous title for what would become a cultural phenomenon.
I'm gay.
After a year of negotiation with ABC, Ellen DeGeneres was finally granted permission for her character and herself to come out as gay during the show, a major first for television. Since then, Ellen has been heralded as an icon that changed Hollywood and our broader society forever, paving the way for greater acceptance of gays and lesbians, and even earning her the Presidential Medal of Freedom. But what would have happened to a star in Ellen's position 60 years earlier? Following a string of successful starring roles with MGM and Columbia Pictures through the 1920s, Billy Haines was poised to become Hollywood's next leading man. But in 1933, Haines' acting career was suddenly cut short. During a police raid at a YMCA, the well-loved star was arrested with another man. The head of MGM Studios gave him this ultimatum: marry a woman or leave the industry. Haines refused to deny his homosexuality, which made him the first openly gay actor in Hollywood, and it ruined his career.
Fabio, take one. Marker.
For a long time before then, basically, you could not publicly be gay and be in Hollywood at the same time. Even the rumor of being homosexual could be enough to tank somebody's career.
Instead of being a major historical moment that solidified his legacy and changed Hollywood forever, Haines' coming out resulted in a terminated contract with MGM and a career that faded into obscurity. Society was deeply intolerant of homosexuality, and in many communities, you would be shunned, assaulted, or even arrested. Hollywood reflected those same biases. In Hollywood, they followed something called the Hays Code, which made tolerance against the rules.
The Hays Code basically said you couldn't use curse words, you couldn't depict religious people in a negative light, you couldn't show things that were perversions, and so forth. Also, it was used kind of as a way to keep people in the closet.
The Hays Code, a moral guideline adopted by all major studios, governed the film industry from 1934 until 1968, making topics like homosexuality untouchable. Stars like Billy Haines were contractually obligated to stay in the closet or lose their acting careers. Even after the Hays Code was lifted, there was a lasting effect from such stringent rules.
The residual feelings of the Hays Code were felt for many years in Hollywood, and this is one of the reasons that the Ellen DeGeneres incident is so incredibly important, that it really marked the beginning of the end for that style of thinking in the entertainment industry.
By the 1990s, when Ellen came out, there was still a lot of intolerance toward homosexuality, but public attitudes had begun to shift. Over the course of 30 years, this Gallup poll has asked Americans if gay and lesbian relationships should be legal. When the Puppy episode aired in 1997, 44% of responders were answering yes. That's not even a majority, and the wording just asks if LGBT relationships should be legal. Still, Ellen was able to time her coming out with a moment where tolerance toward gay and lesbian identities was on the rise, due in large part to decades of activism laying major groundwork.
There was this long gay rights movement that started in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, started really blossoming, and then after kind of some initial victories, people started asking for things like gay marriage, the acceptance of gays in all kinds of jobs and occupations.
Once a trend is set in motion, a big jolt can propel things forward, offering increased momentum and boosting its trajectory. That same Gallup poll shows a sharp increase in positive responses after Ellen came out.
Often cases when it comes to cultural change, there may be that one person who maybe they don't quite start the trend, but when they come out, you realize it's not going backwards. You know, this is a one-way trip. Like, once Ellen DeGeneres comes out, that means that everybody knows that not only is she gay, but there are probably other people in the industry who are gay, who are probably really famous people who are in the industry who are gay, and then that can be something which can be normalized and made very routine.
When identities that used to be persecuted and ostracized become normalized and routine, it is an example of society demonstrating the core liberal values of toleration and pluralism.
In general, toleration is simply the ability to let people who are different than you conduct their own daily lives without interference. Pluralism is this broad idea in the social sciences that a society should be able to tolerate or accept or contain very different perspectives or viewpoints.
Post-Ellen, LGBT identities had become more mainstream in Hollywood. Today, young stars can come out about their sexuality in a tweet to huge bases of supportive fans. And the identities we see are moving beyond homosexual or heterosexual due to what sociologists call sexual diversity.
Sexual diversity, state or situation where multiple types of sexual identities and preferences are seen as normal, acceptable, or tolerable.
This is where toleration and pluralism go hand in hand. Without rules in place that dictate what is and is not correct thinking, individuals can feel comfortable to peacefully experiment more with their identities. New identities are formed and accepted, and everyone benefits. Just as religious pluralism means people of different religious beliefs can peacefully coexist and flourish in the United States, allowing for pluralism when it comes to other forms of identity has led to greater peace and prosperity for all in society.
If we have a society where sexual diversity is seen as normal and acceptable, that means we have a lot of individuals who feel more comfortable, less stressed, and lead overall healthier lives. Our communities also benefit because when people are able to follow their personal interests, their own identities. They do so in healthy ways. They have families, they have relationships, they can pursue jobs and occupations in a wide range of places, and they become our neighbors, and they become a healthy part of the communities that we live in.
Billy Haines didn't live to see the puppy episode, or the great strides society has made since then, but there is still work to be done.
There's definitely a lot of room to grow in terms of pluralism and tolerance. And what I would really recommend is really thinking about that basic underlying liberal idea where we say to other people, okay, you get to do what you want. You may even harm yourself a little bit. It may make me feel very uncomfortable, but we're going to allow you to do it. If we allow you to do it, you're going to do it in a better way and in a more constructive way than if we stigmatize you and try to make you go away. And I think that underlying liberal attitude of freedom and respecting other people is something we can all work on, and we can make America even better.